Good morning, everyone. So today we are doing Unit 10, Lesson 4, Find the Area with Different Square Units. And this lesson is very similar to what you did yesterday. So before we get started on that, we are going to work on a problem of the day. And we are going to be using the distributive property today as your problem of the day. So I want you to get your pencil out and ready with me because I want us to do this together. So pause this if you need to because we're going to get started right away. All right, so with the problem of the day, I'm going to give us the problem. Let's do 8 times 6. Okay, equals blank. So some of you might know what 8 times 6 is. Some of you might find 8 times 6 a little bit more difficult, and that's when you would want to use the distributive property. So what we're going to do is draw an array that's 8 times 6 first, 8 rows of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And one more row of 8. So 8 rows or 8 groups of 6. Okay, so we already know that all these combined is going to be equal to our product. So using the distributive property, remember we talked about we're going to take a number and we're going to break it into 2. What 2 add-ins can we add together to get to 8? And we know that we can add 4 and 4. That's the one that probably comes to mind the easiest. But I want to do something different than that. So why don't we do 3 and 5? Because we know that 3 plus 5 equals 8. So our second factor here, that doesn't change at all. What we're doing is we're taking our 8 rows and we're now splitting our rows or partitioning it into 3 rows now, still of 6, and 5 rows of 6. So we should get the same product at the end. We're just showing it in a different way. So I'm going to take my first new add-in, which is 3. So it's 3 times 6. I'm going to put it in parentheses so that it shows it's its own separate problem. Plus, so I did my 3. Let's go to our 5 because it's now 3 rows of 6. 3 rows of 6 plus 5 rows of 6. Putting that in parentheses to show that those are 2 separate problems. 3 times 6, what is that? 18. Plus 5 times 6. Think about it, 30. And what does that equal? Think about it, 48. So let's look here and make sure we know that 3 rows of 6 is 6, 12, 18. Plus 5 rows of 6 is 30. And we know that those combined is equal to 48. Okay? So my answer is 48. All right? We can talk about this more during office hours if you have more questions. So moving on, let me zoom out a little bit. Our objective today is, today I will find the area of objects using different size square units. So remember that the area is the surface, right? And how much space the surface takes out. So if we wanted to find the area of this whole book, I would want to know, I would have to find the difference or the square units in order to find the area of the entire surface of this book. Okay, so we can measure in different ways to find the area. And remember, every time we find or hear the word square unit, we know that square unit refers to finding the area. So in the metric, we went over this the other day, but I'm just going to go over it again really quickly. A square centimeter is where your square is 1 centimeter on all sides. We talked about how big a centimeter is. It's about the size from here to here on your pinky finger. So I might want to measure the surface area of, I have one right here, an eraser in square centimeters because this is really small. So I would want to measure how many square centimeters this surface area is, the surface of my eraser. A square meter, we know, is 100 centimeters on all sides. So if I wanted to find the carpeting in our classroom, or if I wanted to paint the walls of our classroom, the entire surface, then I would probably use square meters to measure that. And then we have our standard units, which are square inches. For square inches, maybe I want to measure, let's see, I have right here our Magic Treehouse book in square inches because it's not too small, but it's also not too big. Okay, I might also want to measure this book in square inches. And then square feet probably are table desks in the classroom. I would want to measure in square feet. So remember that a foot has 12 inches on all sides. 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. Okay? So moving on to the input. So if you look at number 1, it says find the area of the shape in square centimeters. So make sure you pay attention to this. This says square centimeters because it wants to know the area, but it also wants